Thanks for coming in and having me interview you, Fran, for a project. So, as a LDT professional, can you describe your a typical workday for you?
It's kind of a hard question because there's really no typical workday. It changes every day, just depending on where you are in the instructional design. For example,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the analysis phase, that day will be determined by going out and meeting with the stakeholders or meeting with the clients that you have. So you'd be asking questions and you'd be trying to get as much information from your clients as possible. So your whole day may just be centered on that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're in the process of designing, then your whole day will be designing what you gathered from your needs analysis from your clients. So it's never really one specific um, thing that we do. It's just depending on where you are. We talk a lot about the ADDIE model. So where are
Mm-hmm.
you on that? Where are you in the process? So that just kind of determines what you do for the day. Typical day, what do I do every day? If that's what the question is
Yeah.
asking, I go into my email. I'm freelancing right now, so I get to, I travel with my laptop, and so a typical day would be definitely looking into my email, figuring out what's important, who to email, who to respond to, and things like that, and then I go into my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
What needs to be done that day. So um, if I was working with a group, and I did this a year or so ago before I started my research, when I met with a group, we had
Mm-hmm.
things to do, and so we go through those lists of things that needed to be done, as a group, meeting as a group, and looking at the to-do list
To-do
too.
list.
So as a freelancer, yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And since I have a family, I have a lot of flexibility. So when the kids are home, I take a break. And
Mm-hmm.
then once the kids are in bed, I kind of have my laptop with me all the time. So I'm always
Yeah.
surfing the internet,
Yeah.
looking at what other people have done. So that's pretty much it for a typical work day
Workday.
for me.
Do you do you contact, like, you're a freelancer, so do you, like, and that's how you contact your clients or whoever you're working with on the project, through email,
Through email, sometimes we do Skype,
Skyping?
whatever works, and sometimes a simple phone call
Okay.
will do. Usually that occurs in the morning when everything, um, when I look at my email. But then I have to also think of the time difference, yeah, because here we are in Hawaii,
Yes.
and then I used to be on the East Coast, which is a 5 hour time difference, and so what's morning for me is afternoon for them. So again, it's just
And you have to be
yeah,
flexible
being flexible
for your
as a
time
as a freelancer.
as a
If you're
freelancer.
working as a group, that's a totally different animal there. So
Okay. Um. Okay. Okay. We'll go on to the next question. So to help us, aspiring instructional designers or ideas, what are some skills that are necessary
oh my
in the
goodness.
field?
A lot of things. I think the thing that sticks out for me is you have to understand the learning theories, because anyone can put a presentation together.
Mm-hmm.
They using PowerPoint and just adding words to a slide, but if you don't know why you're doing it, um, then it's not really um, your job as an instructional designer, I guess, is you understand people, how they learn, and so and we understand how to help them, and so learning, like I think you guys are in this class now, learning the different theories of how students learn is a crucial skill to have.
Okay.
And that's just one thing. Number two, you have to know technologies, different types of technologies that are out there, for your basic, Microsoft Word, Microsoft software, to a lot of the e-learning software. You need to get your hands dirty and get into some of those software and learn all about them. So immerse yourself, in different types of technology that are out there. Another skill that I found that is really important is communication. You're going to be talking to a lot of different people, so you need to have some, people skill, communication skills, verbally, and you have to also know how to communicate verbally online, so you'll be using text. So communication skills. So if you don't have those type of skills, I would recommend that read about it, or better yet, sit in a class if you can. That would be another way to do it. Graphics, learn about graphics design. You don't have to go really into detail, but just know the basic of graphics design. Another skill is web design.
Okay.
I have a background in web design, basic HTML. Again, if you know your basics, you won't be floundering too much. So your basic web design skills. Let's see. So all in all, technology, just know, because technology is always changing. So just kind of immerse yourself in learning about the different trends.
Okay.
So you have to keep up with the learning trends out there, what's popular and what's fading. And knowing when to use them.
When to use them, yeah.
When to use them.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, social media, like, as a trend.
Web 2.0 right now is pretty big.
Yeah, that's right.
Learning how to network, social media, learning how to network with other people, learning how to use YouTube to your advantage too. I mean, YouTube is so popular that learning how to use the different channels, because clients out there want to be able to be on social media and want to be able to get this, be able to use that in some of their training or presentations.
Okay. So do you feel that you need to have like an advanced degree in order to be an instructional designer, and why?
Yeah, that's kind of a toughie. And I can see it from both ways. Both no and yes, you should have a degree. If you have a lot of experience under your belt, like you were put in a position where you have a lot of experience, and sometimes it's not necessary if you're going to be like a team player, but if you want to extend and expand yourself, by all means, and you have the resources to do it, yeah, go for it. I have a friend who wanted to start her own consulting business as an instructional designer, and she got a PhD because she wanted the recognition that she's gone through the training and she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And so with her educational background, she's able to put the Dr. so and so. So it looks I'm not sure. It just looks good on the on a business card, and
it's
again,
or like that authority, right?
Authority, and it gives you authority, and it just seems like you're the expert in that area.
Exactly.
And so some people like that, but if you don't want to do have your own business or consulting business, and you just want to be a team player or a freelancer, experience is important.
Yes,
definitely. So
because because I was thinking, if I'm going to be an instructional designer, I want to move, I want to grow. So getting that education helps you grow.
Definitely it does. And I myself recommend, because it's just, again, going back to some of the research, going back to the last question, some of the skills that you need to learn is, some of the research skills. This is where you find what's worked
Mm-hmm.
with some people and what haven't worked with others. And so, when you go for more education, you get to look into that and research, and that's where I am right now.
Yeah.
So I like it. It just keeps you on your toes as to what's out there.
Yeah. Okay. So there's two recommended technology tools. So you did for number 2,
Mm-hmm.
in question number 2, you did mention technology and how. So what are I think we're looking for specific tools or just in general but you did mention web design and web
Mm-hmm.
graphic.
Yeah. There's so many tools out there.
Or
We're
graphic
so
design.
lucky to have so many tools, but the two that comes to mind that I think are that's necessary to have in your tool bag is definitely Captivate, Adobe Captivate, and if and Articulate, the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wouldn't recommend having the two. You just find one that you feel more comfortable with. I mean, there's pros and cons about each of the different ones. If you learn Captivate, you probably learn Storyline, and they're very similar. So one or the other. The other one that I like, and I haven't had that much experience, but I'd like to have experience with it, is the Presenter.
Okay.
Adobe
The Adobe Presenter.
Yeah, is also
Yeah.
another one that a lot of e-learner instructional designers are using. The Presenter is
That's the one we use, right?
I think you were mentioning that your class uses the Presenter.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
right.
think that's a great one.
That's a great one.
There's so many. So that's just pretty much. I'm looking at my notes. So video capture, of course, Camtasia comes to mind because I've used that. But again, there's a lot of third-party software out there.
Yeah.
For my research, as I was looking into the different software that I could use, I found YouTube annotation was actually
good.
pretty nifty. Really simple to use because you have a video. If you have a lecture and you forgot to, an instructor forgot to add something, and they don't want to spend a lot of time going into Captivate and editing. The YouTube annotation allows you to insert little little text within your lecture.
Mm-hmm.
There's also one that I'm using also with my research. It's called Posit, Play,
Play,
Posit.
POS.
And
Posit.
yeah,
Okay.
it is really a neat tool. Again, when you're designing and the people you're designing for don't have the budget to go into a lot of details, this software here will go into, if you've already recorded your lecture, and as I've mentioned before, a teacher forgets to add, he wants to add interactions.
Mm-hmm.
What this software will do is you decide where you want to put your questions, and it'll put it for you, and it'll pause the video for you.
Oh.
And it's also interactive, meaning you put the questions and the students can click on the answer, and then it
Then continue.
if it's connected to your LMS, you will have analytics, and so an assessment. So it is a powerful tool, and I found out about it a few months ago, and this is from simply just reading and reading and surfing and doing a little bit of research there.
So when you were looking for these current tools, did you have to type it online,
No,
or
I just
you read through the?
I read through some research, and that's how I found out about YouTube annotation. I feel like it's been there forever, and a lot of people have used it. I've only used it just this few weeks, so
Okay.
it's just from reading, just simple, Google search.
Okay.
trying to find easier way to add questions or to lectures. And I looked at some of the reviews, and it's very cost effective too.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Some good technology tools, and these will be helpful for like hybrid, online, or even like face to face, right? Classroom with the teacher wants to be creative.
Exactly, and there are going to be some teachers where they don't want you to create the lessons all for them. They want to have some control. And so these are some of the tools that you can go in and say, okay, record your lecture, and then this software here will help you add some of the questions. I mean, that is so much easier than saying, okay, well, in Captivate we have to go and edit.
Yeah.
And it's just so much to teach them, to train them how to do. And so these third party software out there is so much easier for them to learn and do themselves, and to train them.
And then you can also help them at the same time.
Exactly.
And if they need you to update something, you can, or if they update something, they can.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, good. Are there any challenge? Oh, what are challenges or rewards? What do you love, or what do you What do you love about, or what and the opposite of love?
I'll start with the rewards first, and then go with the challenges. I love technology. I have a background with elementary teaching, and so I love the fact that students are so engaged when they're dealing with technology. It helps a lot of different students, different learning styles, students with disability. I discovered that technology was one of the tools that could really help them engage in education and watching them learn. It's one of the greatest things. I think one of the best rewards, I think, as an educator. So being an instructional designer, in the ADDIE model process, I love the design and development. That is I love, learning what my audience need, bringing that over, and then starting to design is my favorite thing. And I think that's my strength right there.
As the designer.
Yeah, as a designer, is that stage of design and development. So I tend to spend more time on the design and development portion of the process, the ADDIE model, than any other. So the rewards is designing, developing, and just seeing a light bulb. When you see students engaging with the product that you've created is one of the rewards. The challenges, as with any new software, if you have to learn a new software, sometimes the learning curve is difficult, so there's a challenge there. If you're working as a team, like I've worked with a team a year and a half or so ago, the challenges are always, personality, personal type of challenges, where you have to, how do you work as a group when you have so many different opinions and different voices. And so the challenge is trying to how do we unify as a group so that we meet the main goal of the project. So,
and you're talking about other instructional designers,
right? Because when you're on a team, instructional design team, there's so many different roles that each of the designers. One is the writer, one is the head designer, and one is in charge of the technical parts of it, the software. Another one could be, okay, well, this person has to know all about the learning management system, so how do we integrate what we just created to the LMS? So many different facets.
Components,
Yeah, and so it's so difficult when you have so many different voices to kind of come to a consensus or to an agreement. But the challenges are there, and how you work as a group will determine how well the project goes. So I haven't had that much of a problem with some of the groups that I've been, because I kind of, I don't know, I tend to, I listen.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, I missed that. Skills that are necessary in the field, I'm going to go back, is you got to have good listening skills. Okay, listen to what others are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be open-minded.
Very much open-minded, definitely.
How about like working with faculty or even like administrators, or in elementary, K-12, working with teachers? We have any experience about working with the instructors?
Oh yeah,
themselves, or even subject matter experts, like us, the librarians.
Yeah, again, the challenge is when you're working with a teacher, especially a teacher that has no background. Is very traditional.
Yes.
Very traditional in the classroom, and
I'm the teacher,
and then
you're
they're
the student.
wanting to put their classroom online, but they're very fearful because they don't know their way around technology. So it's sometimes it's very difficult to hold their hand, and say, okay, we'll help you design this, and this is all you need to do, type of thing. So it just depends. You're gonna meet so many different educators at so many different levels of expertise, and so this is where you need to listen and figure out what they need, and how you can design towards their needs.
Do they ever? Because when we were reading the report, there's a report, a 2016 report for the instructional design, something. They were saying that faculty, one of the obstacles was getting buy-in from faculty.
Oh yeah, that is one of the main challenges, is making sure that faculty have the buy-in. But boy, you're gonna have a stubborn ones that their way is so much better than or this new technology is only going to cost so much money, and it's not really going to help. And so, just again, different personalities with educators and even with subject matter experts.
Yeah.
And you have to listen.
Yes.
And, and you have to, again, the communication skill, you have to communicate in a way that you're not, you want to propose something, but yet not step on their toes.
Yes.
So there's a lot of listening, and there's a lot of, and throughout the whole process, you're going to have to listen, because this is where you, as you're designing, you're always revising, and you're always going to have to be on the phone with them and trying to figure out if this is what they want, and
that's right. Great. Well, do you have any advice to new professionals, especially us right now, and as we work on this degree?
Oh, this is exciting for you folks. Never stop learning. Always, learning is so much fun. So if you can, get involved get your hands dirty with some of the things that you feel like you're weak in. So like I mentioned previously, if you're not sure about some of these software, try out the trial and see what you can do about getting your hands dirty and learning about it, going online and seeing how others have done it, learning from their experiences. Another thing I've learned is, as you're going through this process, start creating your portfolio. So like some of the work projects that you guys are going to be creating, I'm assuming you guys are going to be creating, start taking down, some of the things that you folks have done, some of the finished products. In fact, if you're in a group, agree that this product that you folks have created will be part of your portfolio, and so start putting those things together. so that you can start getting yourself online and getting yourself known, if that's what you want to do, if you want to do freelance, or even wanting to be hired as a team member for instructional design group. It's always important to have a portfolio, and what a better time to do than put some of the work that you've done from your classes. So
exactly.
Yeah. Let's see here. Other than that, look at what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Go in with like a critique mind,
Mm-hmm.
as you look at how others have put things together, and figure out how you can improve on what they've done. So again, going back to learning and looking at what others have done, looking at the different trends in technology, what has worked, what hasn't, and if you have the opportunity, go to conferences. If your school allows you to go to conferences, start making connections. LinkedIn is a great tool where you can start linking in with others in the field. So that's pretty much fun.
Thank you. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
It's a fun field.
Yeah.
I think there's other. Our field is so broad. I mean, it touches on so many different aspects of instruction,
training,
in universities and libraries. I mean, it's just human resources.
Yeah.
It's just find your little niche that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And build on that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just so much. So find something that you enjoy and build on that.
You're passionate about.
Yeah. Very much so. Because you have to enjoy going to work.
Exactly.
So find something that you enjoy doing. So.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This was great.
Thank you.
Okay.